keep it low and slow. Beer brew in a bucket. Beer brew in a bucket. Watch the good stuff.
Good morning. We're going to be doing a brew today. It's going to be a little bit different to the one I did before, for reasons which I'll be showing you in a minute. I hope you can all hear me because I had a situation with Shiloh, our dog. Hence, we now have that. He is a complete lunatic, and he decided that the microphone that you can see here, he decided that would be a great chew toy. So I had to rescue it and try and fix it. Hopefully it works. So here is said idiot dog who finds things highly amusing, and he thinks he's being helpful, but he tends to get in the way. But he is pretty sweet really, but he still needs a lot to learn. So today I am totally against the grain, no pun intended at all. I'm going back to how I started brewing, to brew a kit using malt extract. What this means is we miss out a massive step of doing all that stuff with the grain and everything in my Brewzilla here, and it comes as an extract, like a syrup, and we literally put it in some boiling water, stir it up, add some cold water, and put in some yeast, and that's it. So you may wonder, well, why the hell do you bother doing all that other stuff? Well, I've never had a Kolsch beer before, so I wanted to try it out before I really wanted to go down the old grain route, and I just felt like doing something a bit different. It's quicker, and let's see what's in the kit. You get some instructions. You get some Saz hop pellets, some Hallertau hop pellets, a hop sock to put the hops in, okay, and a packet of Safale K97 yeast. Behind this little flap here, we've got the 2 cans of malt extract. I say, totally against the grain of what I do, but we'll give it a go. I have done some extract kits when I first started doing this, and they actually turned out okay. I did, a few months ago, I did a Woodford's Wherry style beer, and it was actually really, really nice. So what will I do with this one? I don't know. My temptation is to keg half of it and bottle the rest of it. So we're getting set up. I had to boil some water. I've got my urn here. It's got some boiling water in there. And let me set up and we shall proceed. And hopefully this will be reasonably quick. So even though we're just making a malt extract kit, a lot of the same things apply to it. So sanitization is key. So that bucket has been sanitized with a solution. I've also put the 2 cans in some hot water so it's easier to get the syrup out or extract out. It's quite gooey. I've also sanitized the lids because you just don't know what has been on those lids in the warehouse. So I've sanitized the lids. Another thing we'll do that's just like using all grain is at the end of the, well, it's not a boil, it's just mixing stuff up. We will do a gravity test on it. So we should see to be about 1040 or something like that. And then once it's done fermenting, we'll do it again just to see what strength our beer is. It should come out about 4.5, I understand. Now, doing one of these extract kits, it's pretty easy. I mean, anyone can do it, as long as you can follow some basic instructions, and perhaps it might interest you in doing the same thing. This is how I started, how most people start brewing beer, and some of us, we do go back to it occasionally because it just is super easy. So looking at those instructions, I have done the sterilizing part. It says to sit the cans in a sink of full hot water for 5 minutes to make the extract easy to pour. So yes, it's in the I've got a big pan with hot water in it, so it's doing that at the moment. One thing it does say there is to sterilize the yeast sachet, so I must remember to do that. I always do, but you never know, you could forget. In here I've got my airlock for the fermentation. That's sterilizing, that's really important. So I think the cans have been in there for about 5 minutes, and I'm going to get going. Ooh, just like, I don't know, golden syrup maybe. Still coming out. And what I'm going to do in a minute, I'm going to put some boiling water in here and get this. Swill it around a bit, get all of that stuff out, mixing it up. That looks good. Just get the bottom. They smell really nice, actually. Swill it around the sides as much as I can. And put that in. That's pretty good. Now we're going to do the second can, which apparently has got something different in it, but it will still look quite similar. You can see it's a slightly lighter colour. And once again, I'm going to put in some boiling water. And get all the last bits of that lovely extract out. That should do it. Swirl it around the sides a bit. And in it goes. Pretty much all of it gone. So the next stage of this, it says, is to get 4 litres of boiled water, put that in the fermenter and stir it using my sterilized spoon, and mix the extract until it has dissolved. I think I can do that. Right, I have my 4 litres of boiled water here. I'm going to put it in there nice and vigorously. Let's get some oxygen in it. There we go. And now I'm going to stir it with my sterilized spoon till it's all dissolved. Yeah, it smells fantastic actually. Why do I bother with the all grain? I'll tell you why, because I love the science of it and the zen feeling that I get of knowing that I've created something using raw ingredients. This is fine, but to me it's a bit like putting instant coffee in some water, or Bovril. feel it. See, it's still a bit syrupy down there, but it's all mixing up well. Yeah, that's better. Feel it. Almost all mixed up. There we go. Some oxygen in there, because the yeast will need the oxygen to get going. Yeah, I think we're there. Just a little bit more. Now, the instructions say, top up the fermenter with 23 litres of cool tap water and stir. So I can do that. I'll go get some water. Okay, so I've topped up to 23 litres in this plastic bucket fermenter, which are cheap as anything to buy. Malt Miller is great for supplies, and I do like their plastic bucket fermenter. Just looks a bit smart, handy. It's got a little scale on the side so you can see how much is in there. So 23 litres. I'm just going to give it another stir just to make sure that everything is dissolved. I think that will do it. And that is our brew day pretty much done. Minimal cleanup, because cleaning that thing can take a while. So all I'm going to do now is check the temperature, put the yeast in, put the top on, put the airlock in, and put it in my fermenting chamber fridge with some thermostats on it that keep it at a nice 20 degrees. So I have put the wort in the fermenter, and it's now currently sitting in my fermentation chamber, which is just a larder fridge with some specialized thermostats on it. The Verdant light bulb is fermenting away down there. See, it's still got a lot of krausen on it. That should be done next week. So looking at this, it's now time to put in the yeast. However, I need to make sure that the temperature is okay, because I don't want to kill the yeast. I'm going to take a reading. It says it's 23. It's a little bit too warm. Just going to let it cool down for a bit, and then I'll add the yeast. Whilst waiting for the wort, I keep saying that wrong. Whilst waiting for the wort to cool down, I've put some of it in this test container and put in the hydrometer, and it is difficult to tell always because of the meniscus on the wort, but it is somewhere between 1040 and 1050. I'm saying maybe 1045, 46, which is about where it should be. So shortly I'll go put the yeast in the fermenter. It's still a little bit on the warm side because it is quite warm here today, but I'll come back when I'm putting the yeast in. So here we are back at the fermenting chamber. I'm happy with the temperature now, so I'm going to put the yeast in. I cut it open, it was sterilized, and it's just a case of sprinkling it over the top. So just open this up here and literally sprinkle it over the top. Oh, there we go. And we'll close up this fermenter. Okay, so that's fully closed now, and the only other thing I've got to do is put the airlock in. So I filled it up with sanitizer. Just going to put it in there. There we go. Might just put a little bit more sanitizer in it. And I don't know why Maisie's barking. Probably barking at the clock, knowing her. Okay, so we're going to leave this for 10 days now, and then we'll be putting the hops in. So the next time you see this will be in 10 days, and we'll shut her in. So we jump forward 10 days, and I am about to put hops, which are in this sterilized hop bag. I'm paranoid about it. I boiled it, I put in sterilized solution, and I have put the hops in the bag, and I'm about to put them into the fermenter, which has been in here for 10 days. And thank the Lord for a fermenting chamber that we made, because it's been so hot and it's been stuck in here at 20 degrees. We just have a quick look in there. You can probably just see the yeast and trub sitting on the top. This will be fine. I'm just going to drop it in, and it will probably sink to the bottom, hopefully, and make some lovely smells and make the kolsch taste really nice. So we'll leave that until Saturday now, and then we will do some kegging and also some bottling. So we shall see you there. Good morning. Well, it's a few days later after we dry hopped the kolsch beer. It's now sitting in the brew shed, ready to be packaged. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keg in this little cute 10-litre mini keg, some of it, 10 litres in fact, and then I'm going to bottle 24, maybe 24 bottles, we'll have to see. Now the bottles need sterilising before we can do it, and I've got a clever little tool to do that, and I'll show you. So on my outside tap I have this thing, and the tap is on at the moment. And what you do is you put the bottle on here, and that happens. A jet of water goes up, takes the crud out. The next step of sterilizing a bottle is using this unit, and it's got sanitizing solution in there. And I just do this, and it jets sanitizing solution up. Do that a few times, and then I put it on my drying rack. I won't show you all 24 bottles because that's bad YouTube. So there we go. I've sterilized 24 bottles. I've also put some caps in some more sterilizing solution down there. But first of all, I will do the kegging part of it. So it's not really a proper oxygen-free kegging system like we had before, because that has had some oxygen in it. But we're going to do a closed loop transfer, as best as we can into this little cute mini keg. So pretty much as before, I now have a flow of beer coming out by gravity into my keg. It won't be going that fast. I've also done a CO2 feedback into that. It's not airtight, but it just adds to a little bit of pressure up top. And this yellow strip here will be going green as the cold beer goes into the keg. So there it goes. You can see that the beer is now filling up the keg because that is going green. The inside of the keg was fairly warm. The beer has been in a fridge. The one thing I did do, I didn't mention before, I did yesterday a thing called cold crashing, which is something that you do just to get the last bit of fermentation done and then kind of stopped. It also takes out all the little tiny fine particles and puts them at the bottom of the fermenter. And also I added some vegan gelatin finings, and what they do is they bind with all the little particles again and put them to the bottom of the fermenter. So what we have coming out is nice clean beer, hopefully. I've now stopped the flow of the beer into the keg because it is full. Might be a little bit too full. I might have to draw some off, but we'll see, because I need a bit of headspace in there to add some CO2. Some of the beer has come up the CO2 line, but I can sort that one out shortly. Well, actually that was fine. So there's plenty of room in there. Just going to add some CO2 into it from the cylinder. There it goes. Just purge it just a little bit. Make sure any air has come out, and just dial it up a little bit on here. And that is done. Now, can you drink that? Yes, you can. Would I drink it? No. It now has to go into an area where it's 15 degrees for 2 weeks to mature some more. So I have to set my fermentation chamber 15 degrees and let it sit in there. Can't hurry beer. The next thing I'm going to do is some bottling. I'm not a big fan of bottling the way I used to do it all the time, but after you've done kegging for a while, you realise it's a bit of a faff. So one thing you've got to do with bottling is add half a teaspoon of specialist brewing sugar into each bottle, and then you take your bottle and you put it under that little spigot thing there, and then press it up and it fills up the bottle, and then you've got to put a cap on it, and it's just a faff. So first of all, you have to take your bottles and put half a teaspoon of this sugar in, and then it sticks and it doesn't all want to go in, and it's just a pain. But anyway, I'll do that for a batch of bottles and then I'll show you the bottling process. I've just put sugar in 24 bottles. What this does, it adds the natural carbonation. So now we bring up the bottle and then push down, and then it fills up the bottle with the beer from the fermentation vessel. There it goes, the beer up to the top. And then when it reaches the top, like that, you pull it out, and that's left just the right amount of headroom. And then the next thing you do, could be difficult, is you take out one of these caps. They're one-time use caps. They do have what they call an oxygen scrubbing layer in them, a sort of plasticky layer. So any oxygen that's in there now, which there will be scrubbed. This might be a bit hard to do on camera, but I'll take this thing out, put it over the cap, it's going to go a bit strange now. Oops. Close it up. And lever it, and it clicks, and now that cap is on that bottle. Well, a considerable time later our packaging is done, so we got the 10-litre mini keg of the Kolsch, and then another, is it 22 bottles? Yeah, 22 bottles. Which, as I say, I'm not a big fan of bottling anymore. It serves its purpose, but it does take forever. You got that deal with the sugar that carbonates the beer in the bottle, and then they get sticky. And anyway, it's absolutely fine. It's just not my thing anymore, but I will continue to do it. Now these have to sit for 2 weeks, as does the keg, lower temperature, because it's kind of like a lagery thing. And then, despite it being a kit with just syrupy stuff, you're left with this sludge and the yeast doing its thing. It's pleasant, isn't it? That's the hot bag in there. So there's a bit of cleanup involved now, but that's part of the process. So 2 weeks time we'll do the tasting, and I hope you can see that actually with not a lot of equipment, forget about the keg, but just a few bottles, plastic bucket, a syrup kit, or malt extract kit, you can make yourself some beer and save considerable amount of money from the shops. I will see you the next time. Well, I suppose this is a bit of an epilogue to the video that I started making about 5 weeks ago. So the beer has been in the fermenter, as we know, and it's gone through processes of fermenting, and now it has been bottled for a few weeks. There it is in the bottle, and I also put it in a little mini keg. So what I'm going to do now, just to finish this whole process off, is to actually try what's in the bottle. I've never had a Kolsch before, so I've got nothing to compare it to. So let's see how this goes. And we've definitely got some natural carbonation in there. And just leave that little bit in the bottom, because that's kind of bit of sediment left after the natural fermentation process. Let that clear up a bit. A little bit of chill haze, as it's called. Oh, a little bit of lacing. That's good. Lacing's when it sticks to the side of the glass. So I think this one does have a bit of chill haze. Right, here we go. That is very tasty. Considering that came out of a couple of cans of syrupy, malty stuff, very tasty. So it just shows what you can do with some cans, a fermentation bucket, and some bottles. You can make yourself a nice, cheap beer. Cheers.
Beer brew in a bucket. Beer brew in a bucket. Keep it low and slow. Beer brew in a bucket. Beer brew in a bucket. Watch the good stuff grow.